You ever see somebody walk into a casino with their whole paycheck in a dream? That's basically what happened here. See, back in the 80s, He-Man wasn't just a cartoon. He was lunchboxes, action figures, pajamas, Halloween costumes, and 12 billion toys your parents stepped on in the dark. So naturally, somebody in Hollywood looked at all that money and said, let's make a movie. But this time, they spent a fortune, sent the most powerful man in Eternia to California, forgot half the characters, and somehow managed to make one of the biggest toy brands on Earth feel like it was hiding in somebody's backyard. And the crazy part is, I still kind of love it. So grab your power sword, avoid any glowing cosmic keys you might find lying around, and join us as we talk about the movie that didn't just disappoint fans, it helped take an entire studio down with it. This is what we saw on Stolen Cable, the movie that killed the studio, Masters of the Universe, 1987. Ladies and gentlemen, I am your Uncle Patches. I am here with
Sinister Cinema.
All right, like we said, we're doing Masters of the Universe. Yes, we're going to jump on the bandwagon since they have the new Masters of the Universe film out. Now, we have seen both films.
Yes.
The new one is actually, it's super fun.
It is. I enjoyed it. I went in with low expectations and came out, kind of surprised, and, it exceeded my expectations, so that was good.
Well, on this one, this is the 1987 Masters of the Universe films, and when I say it killed a movie studios, it killed Canon Films. When they were doing the filming on this one, it was so over budget, they cut everything off before they had a chance to film the final fight scene.
Yeah, this was really sad because the whole story behind Masters of the Universe is that everything was done way on very low budget. Everything was done. Even the toy line was done on a low budget.
That's why they were all buffed characters, because they used the same He-Man mold for everybody and just changed their heads out.
Absolutely. If you ever watched the what was it, that documentary, The Toys That Shaped Us?
Yes.
That was they explained it in there. The whole thing was done on a very low budget, and then they went all out with the budget on this one, and it didn't pay off.
Well, this Canon Films were notorious for being a low-budget movie studio. Mm-hmm. I've got some notes on those guys. On the note of the Masters of the Universe, the end scene where He-Man and Skeletor are fighting, all of a sudden cuts to black, and they're fighting in practically the dark with a little bit of light on them, and you can barely see what's going on. The reason for that is they were cut off from being able to do the big elaborate scene that they wanted to do. They shut down the film entirely. So they snuck in at night so they could film the scene so they can get the film out to everybody.
Well, that's why it was probably the best scene of the whole movie because of that.
I hear different stuff about it. I hear people love it. I hear people are kind of on the fence about it. But
the funny thing is, just usually things that are iconic scenes from movies are done very much that same way, where it was snuck in or.
Well, generally, when you let the artistic people do their artistic stuff, especially if they're thinking they're trying to get away with something, they'll come out with some of the best ideas. That's why all the low-budget horror films are so awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're forced to be creative.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the best thing about the lack of budget for special effects and things like that. People have to come up with, these great ideas to get around the lack of funding.
Let's talk about He-Man. We're talking, 1983? The He-Man toy line was coming out, and this is when they first got the idea to do TV cartoon to promote the toy line. Mm-hmm. Now, you mentioned the toys that made us. I do remember seeing on there that they were talking about the psychology. They actually talked to a child psychologist on here, and they asked, well, what would little boys be into? Well, I mean, what would really draw their attention? And it says, well, most little boys have a problem that they want to be powerful, but they're small and they're always being told what to do and everything like that. So they came up with the tagline, I have the power, because when boys play, they try to emulate their heroes. Yes. Whereas when girls play, they put themselves in the roles of the heroes, not as the heroes themselves. So a boy playing He-Man will play like he is He-Man.
Yes.
But a girl playing like She-Ra, which came later, plays as herself in the role of She-Ra.
Yeah.
But the line, I have the power, it resonated really well with young boys because we feel helpless at that age.
Yeah. Yeah.
To give us a little bit of power and everything like that. So I remember He-Man. I was a huge He-Man fan back in the day. Did you play with He-Man?
Yeah. Oh, He-Man was everything back in the day. It was great. I had all the, a lot of the toys. I had He-Man, and I remember Moss Man. That one. That was a pretty unique character. I had a few of the other ones. It was a really good show back in the day, as I remember. It's one of those shows that you can't really go back and watch as an adult because you realize how kind of
I have a hard time on it. I see some stuff online every now and then when they pull stuff, especially Skeletor. The whole Skeletor with Alan Oppenheimer doing Skeletor's voice.
Yeah, that's iconic voice. Such a great guy too. You every time you see him in interviews or his interaction with the fans and stuff like that, you can tell that he's having a great time and he loves doing that voice.
Well, they had that film that came out a few years ago, Oppenheimer, about the guy that helped create the nuclear bomb that they drop on Japan, right?
Yes.
That is Alan Oppenheimer's cousin.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I just thought it was a coincidence that he had the same name. But
it's not it's a coincidence that they have the same name, but it's not a coincidence because they're actually related. There is a connection there.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
Star Wars was what really brought in toys and toy tie-ins.
Yes.
George Lucas did really good with that. In the 80s, we suspect, we can't prove it, we suspect that a lot of people that got involved with anything that got really successful were fueled mostly by cocaine.
Well, a lot of them have admitted to that after the fact, so we have some proof.
So they had the artists. He would get there and draw these big, elaborate characters and everything like that. And the original storylines for He-Man with the little comic books and stuff that came with the characters was a lot more violent than the actual TV show.
Yeah, the TV show. The TV show, the cartoons had a lot of restrictions back in the day. He-Man wasn't actually even allowed to punch anyone in the show. So
if he punched anything, it'd be like a wall to knock a wall down.
He would punch objects, and he would if he was involved in any kind of physical violence against any person or creature that was humanoid, it was swinging them around and throwing them.
They did not want to encourage young boys to be young boys and practice fighting and sword fighting and killing bad guys. We had to talk to them.
The funny thing is this sword was very much ornamental.
Yeah, he never used it for anything other than changing himself in Battle Cat.
Yeah.
I love the He-Man show. I had He-Man, the regular He-Man, and then I think one year me and my brother wound up with He-Man and Skeletor, but the battle damage versions were the ones that had the chest.
Cool. Yeah.
So they had this cylinder on their chest.
That was the big thing back in the day, too.
Oh, yeah. Your toy had to have a gimmick.
And they actually had Hot Wheels that did the same thing.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, they had the door damage and stuff on the Hot Wheels and everything like that. So you would get there and the toy would look like a regular toy, but they had a cylinder in the chest. And if you hit it, it would flip over to another scene, which would be a little bit of damage. And if you hit it again, it would flip over to more damage. And then you could just, flip it back to the original one when you want to, restart your play.
That was so cool.
It was really fun. My brother and I loved He-Man so much. They had now I kind of tease this in one of our earlier episodes. We've got a He-Man story from when I was a kid. There was an advertisement for an opening of a store called Wieners. I don't even know if that store exists anymore.
Probably not.
But they were doing a brand new opening in Bryan College Station for Wieners. And the big deal with that was they were going to have He-Man there. He-Man was going to open the store.
Oh, wow.
And me and my brother hounded my dad. Hounded him relentlessly to go see He-Man because He-Man was going to be at Wieners.
It was going to be He-Man. Actual He-Man.
Actual live He-Man. Not a cartoon.
Yeah.
This was actual, and I think we even brought that up. It's actual live He-Man, Dad. So my dad, he was a typical dad of the 80s. He did not want to be bothered. He
was already an adult and knew that this wasn't going to actually be He-Man.
Yeah, I mean, he probably had a story about seeing the Lone Ranger or something when he was a kid or something like that. I don't know. But we went out and it was crowded out there and we drove by and everything like that. And we got out to see He-Man and we got in line and everything like that. And when we got to the front of the line, it was a guy in a rubber suit. He-Man and Skeletor were there. I mean, it wasn't even good.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was just But I remember, I think as penance, my dad made us write a summer story or something.
Oh, wow.
To get us the writing. And he says, well, tell us, write a story about what you did this summer.
Oh, man, if you still had that story, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, it would be. I think my brother's was a lot better. Because my handwriting was terrible.
Well, still, you could have read it here.
Oh, yeah.
Great.
I think as it started, this summer I saw a rubber He-Man. So we're huge fans of He-Man. We loved He-Man. Yeah. And I remember coming up, and this film came out in 87. So I would have been about, 12 years old? 12, 13?
Yeah, I guess so.
We would have been just out of the He-Man age, but we would have still been excited for the little bit of nostalgia from when we were young, in quotes. Because He-Man is very much a young boy's cartoon. Because you can't watch it as an adult because it just...
Yeah, I think, ages like 5 to 8, maybe.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Absolutely. If you get a chance to get it, you can get them at Walmart. You can get the complete box set for like $30 on DVD, which I've been thinking about doing, but I don't know.
Yeah. A good show for kids, but
So we were
anyway.
We were excited for the movie to come out, and of course, when we were growing up, we had Superman from '77.
Yes.
And then they got kind of weird there toward the end, and that actually ties into the destruction of canon films. Because there are 2 films that came out that summer, Superman 4 and Masters of the Universe, which were huge flops. And the first time that the studio put out a bunch of money on a film thinking it was going to be a big hit.
Yeah, unfortunately. That's kind of sad for this.
Well, let's get into the film. So we get He-Man, right? And you look at the casting. You got Dolph Lundgren, right?
Yes.
Dolph Lundgren, that's going to be
legendary
great.
Actor. Good,
Guys,
good for what he does. Good in the roles that he does.
The guy's a genius.
He is a genius, yes.
I mean, a literal genius.
Yes.
Not as an actor.
Certified genius.
He's like, what, a biochemist or something like that?
Something like that. I don't remember exactly, but yeah, I do know that he is a...
He's got like a doctorate in a physical science profession. So the guy is sharp. He could barely speak English when he did this film. So I think they dubbed over all of his lines.
You can definitely hear some accent in the lines that he does have. But yeah, he has very few actual lines in the movie. In
the film, they only use 1 villain and 2 actual He-Man heroes aside from He-Man. And everything else, well, I guess they did 2 villains because they did Evil Lyn and they did villains. Beastman.
There's Evil Lyn, Beastman, and Skeletor.
Well, Skeletor. Well, I was saying the henchmen type. So you had the heroes, which was He-Man, Teela, and Man-at-Arms. On the villain side, you had Skeletor, Evil Lyn, and Beastman. So we had Dolph Lundgren as He-Man, Frank Langella as Skeletor, and he did a really good job on that.
He did. Didn't like really any of the costumes in this movie.
Yeah, this was not a He-Man, a Masters of the Universe film. It was that in name only.
For the most part, kind of let's make a Conan movie without really, and call it He-Man, pretty much.
Well,
sort of.
Yeah, it was.
In some
ways. Just off of anything that it was supposed to be. I watched it here before we did the thing, and I'm sitting there watching. I was like, this is not a bad film. Except for Courtney Cox and Robert Duncan McNeil, which are the two human characters that you most commonly deal with in the film.
So the problem with this movie, I think, is that they kind of start out in Eternia, and then you just kind of forget that Eternia exists for most of the movie. You have the climax of the movie in the Earth realm, and then not only that, but even the main characters, the Masters of the Universe, take the kind of a side to the Earthrealm characters.
Yeah, so I'm surprised they didn't have the monkey named Gleep along with them.
Yeah.
What was it? Marvin and who was that on the Super Friends? The two teenage characters.
Oh yeah, the Wonder Twins.
No, not the Wonder Twins. The ones that didn't have powers. It was like Marvin and Jenny or something like that. It was a weird time when we were growing up.
Definitely.
None of the characters looked like the characters that were in the He-Man show. The only one that came close was Beastman.
Yeah.
Close, but
still not really.
That set us off. We couldn't really get into the film as kids.
I just didn't really... The skull mask for Skeletor didn't even look like a skull. It just looks like some kind of...
Like he had bony protrusions on his face.
Yeah.
But makeup work back then wasn't all that great to begin with.
They could draw a skull, you know.
True, but Frank Langella actually had to use his face to emote a lot of what he was doing. I don't think they had enough confidence to let him have a mask on and let him emote through the mask physically.
Yeah, I guess not. But the He-Man costume. How hard is it to do
breastplate with the cross on the front? Yeah. and fuzzy pants.
Yeah, should have been easy, but you know.
And then they got Tila, who was... I saw this in another podcast. This wasn't even my notice on it, but to give these guys credit, I was flipping through Facebook, and there was like, and the Tila from the 87 He-Man, she was like totally 80s. So she was in a full spandex outfit with the headband, and I was like, oh my God, it's been driving me nuts for 40 years what she was. And that was it. They put extra accessories on top of that, and there she was. She was Miss 80s.
Yeah. Looked like she was straight out of an 80s aerobics video.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, they could have put earrings on her and then dropped her into a gem commercial, and she could have been totally outrageous. Truly
outrageous.
Yes. We had another human character in here. Of course, everybody's humanoid-ish. You wouldn't really call Eternians human. They did a good job in the film to distinguish the Eternians from the Earthlings because all the Eternians were at least a foot taller than everybody else in the film.
Yeah.
But they got James Tolkien in it. Everybody knows James Tolkien.
Principal Strickland.
Strickland from Back to the Future.
Yes.
I'm surprised he didn't call them a bunch of slackers.
That was what I was waiting for. Yeah, exactly. He should have been like, slackers. You know, with his shotgun.
We had Billy Barty as Gwildor. Now, Gwildor was a big problem in the film when I was growing up because everybody had the favorite character, which was the goopy wizard Orko. And the fact that they didn't put Orko in the He-Man film, everybody was upset, as I remember.
Yeah. Kind of replaced Orko with that guy.
With Gwildor.
Yeah.
Billy Barty, I mean, the guy is a legend. He was in, if you needed a small guy in a role, he was in it all over the place. And what happened with that,
It was either him or, I can't remember his name for some reason.
it was like...
Warwick Davis, right?
Warwick Davis. Well, he would have been a young boy at this point.
Yeah, but I'm saying like...
Well, there was a whole slew of little... I don't even know what the correct term is anymore. Everybody gets so upset, and I don't...
The funny thing about it is, right now, the correct term is supposed to be little person. I don't know how is that the correct term? That sounds condescending to me.
I don't know.
It's whatever.
The small actors, all right? The small actors.
There are no small actors.
Small actors with big personalities.
There you go.
But when we were growing up, you had little actors in everything.
Oh, yeah.
You had you had Ewoks in Star Wars, plus you had, even in Empire Strikes Back, the creatures on Cloud City that were running the equipment.
Yeah. We had Willow. Willow was like, what, early 90s or late 80s?
That was late 80s. That was late 80s. We had Willow. We had Under the Rainbow. I don't know if you remember that one, but that one actually starred Chevy Chase and Princess Leia, Carrie Fisher.
Oh, yeah.
And it was one of those ones that they had on TV quite a bit. But it took place... Did I mention this in another podcast? It took place... Probably. The whole premise of it was that there was a clandestine deal going down at a dead hotel in Hollywood that wasn't supposed to have anything going on. But they were filming Wizard of Oz at the same time.
Okay.
And they put up all the little actors. Little actors. Somebody's going to be so mad at me for this. They put up all the actors.
The residents of Munchkinland.
Yeah, they put up the residents of Munchkinland at the same hotel, and then on that same day, they had a bus full of Japanese tourists, male tourists with cameras and everything like that.
Of course.
Yeah, because it's got to be the stereotype of the Japanese man with the camera.
Yeah.
And it broke down in front of the same hotel. So everybody gets off and everybody goes in and gets a room. So the thing is they had I think it was Billy Barty. I think it was the same guy.
It probably was.
If it wasn't him, he was definitely in the film somewhere because I do remember seeing him. But no, I think it was him. I'll have to look it up. He played which was weird. It was weird anyhow. He played a German spy.
Oh.
And he was supposed to go...
He was a little German.
Yeah, they knew a little German. That was a bit that they had on Top Secret. We talked about that in that Top Secret episode. Lots of flashbacks here. He was supposed to meet up with his Japanese operative.
Okay.
And they described him, and it was like everybody that came off the bus with a white suit and a white fedora. And, of course, they told the Japanese guy that he needed to meet his contact, which was going to be easy to see because he was a little person.
That's great.
So it was like a Three's Company episode where everybody was doing misunderstandings and stuff like that, but people wound up dying all over the place. There was a big, of course, as the night goes on, they play into Judy Garland's description of what happened after hours.
Oh, okay.
Where the actors were, the Munchkin actors were drinking off set and being stuff.
So you were saying that those stories were exaggerated.
That's what I hear, yeah. But
well, maybe not.
Well, I mean, you got to have a good story when you go sit on a talk show and stuff like that. And I who doesn't know somebody that has that tall tale that they embellish a little bit? It was a fun film. And there's tons of little actors, tons of actors of short stature that were running through the film, right?
Yeah.
Like I said, they had the Ewoks and everything like that. Anytime they needed somebody to fit in something or to play a small part, they would get these actors. But it seems like lately they've done everything they possibly can to make it politically incorrect.
Oh, yeah.
To put an actor in a role that they're made for.
Yeah.
I don't know. But I used to love seeing little actors in little actors. Oh, my God. Actors of short stature in films. I used to love it. There was something just so fun about that.
There was, yeah. I would venture to say that Billy Barty was, even though his character didn't even actually exist in the original Masters of the Universe, he probably was the best actor in the entire movie.
Yes. He was good. I liked Frank Langella as Skeletor. I thought he did really good. You know why he took that role?
Why is that?
Because his son talked him into it because he loved He-Man.
Well, there you go.
Which is funny because I was telling you when we were eating before the show, I saw a deal after we watched the new version. The director had gone to Brian May. He's one of the guys from Queen. I guess he's in charge of Queen now that Freddie's gone. I think they're kind of like co-run it together.
Yeah, I think so.
They were trying to get permission to use Princes of the Universe in the film, and I think he even did some music for the film. I'm not sure. I have to look that up. He did?
Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
I think I remember seeing that in the credits.
Oh, awesome. So they were trying to get him to work on the film, which was a smart idea because
definitely.
Queen. If you had Queen music in film in the 80s, especially with Freddie Mercury, it was amazing stuff. But he was talking to him, and he said, well, I figured we'd just show up, and we spent like 45 minutes to an hour talking to him and something like that. And be
Which is also kind of funny because they make Highlander references in this movie.
Yeah, if we had a nickel for every time they made a Highlander reference in this film, we'd have like 2 nickels, but it's weird that it happened twice, as the meme goes.
It's funny because Queen did the entire soundtrack for Highlander.
Yes.
The original Highlander. So.
Yes. One of my most favorite films, which we definitely need to get to at some point.
For sure.
I wanted to be a little bit more established with the podcast before I did that one because
of course.
That one and like The Princess Bride, any of the Star Wars films.
We are kind of getting ahead of ourselves in the grand scheme of things, but go ahead with your Brian May story.
Oh, so they were sitting there and they were talking to Brian May. He said, well, I thought they were just going to give me like an hour or so talking to him, and then we'd figured something out. But we were there all day. And it was like, well, that's fantastic. We had a great time and everything. And then we went to go leave. And Brian May said, stop, just wait here just for a moment. And he goes upstairs and he comes back down. And he's got these 2 huge boxes filled with He-Man toys. Because apparently his son was a huge He-Man fan when he was our age.
That's awesome.
So there was very little prompting to get him to do music for the film.
Okay. Yeah. Like I was saying, we're getting a little ahead because we're sort of comparing the 2 films, and we're not even through explaining the original one.
Yeah, we're explaining the original film. This film is good. I like the film. I like the film as an adult.
It's a good standalone movie. As an adult. If you watched it as an adult and you knew nothing about He-Man, it would be an all right film. Yeah,
it'd be a really decent film. The major problem that we had with it, and it was a huge turnoff. I remember, it was like everybody was disgusted. None of the characters looked right. None of the costumes were right. Skeletor looked kind of funny, but he didn't have the Skeletor voice.
They get this one part where Skeletor is calling out his henchmen, that he's going to send to the Earth realm to go and track down the He-Man and the others, and he's naming them all, and he's like, names one, and you're just kind of like, who? And he names another, who? And then Beastman. Oh, okay, Beastman. And then it names another one. It's like, who?
Yeah, he goes through the whole list there, and then they got the guy on the end. You'll see the memes on it. Hey, this guy is like the best American there is because he's not only a doctor, but he's also a scientist and an astronaut. And he looked like that guy, just done up as a guy done for swords. You will not be able to unsee it now when you see the film if you know the actor.
Adult film star.
Yeah, he's an adult film star in a He-Man film.
Yeah.
20 or 30 years before he was famous. It's not the same guy. God, I hope it's not the same guy. If it is, the guy's immortal.
In any case.
The cop in this, which is played by James Tolkien Strickland from Back to the Future.
He's pretty much the same character.
It's the exact same character, but as a cop, as a detective. You cannot sit there and watch it, and he doesn't say it. He does not say that he's a slacker. No. And it drives you nuts.
Because he does everything but call him a slacker pretty much.
And then we have Courtney Cox in the film. Now, Courtney Cox, she's from Friends. I think this was her first film.
It might have been.
If it's not, it's
definitely
really
one of the first.
One of the first. She's very young in this, and she's very green.
Yes.
When it comes to acting, she is just not quite there yet. And then her counterpart, Robert Duncan McNeil, he played Parrish on Star Trek Voyager, Lieutenant Parrish.
Okay.
Now, you're not a Star Trek fan. I was a huge Star Trek fan.
It's kind of funny though. I enjoy science fiction, but for some reason, Star Trek never really resonated with me. Well,
I had to drag you in to see Star Trek 2.
And that was good. I enjoyed it.
Which is weird because you're a huge Shatner fan.
Yeah. That's the funniest thing, too. I'm a Shatner fan, but not a Captain Kirk fan. And the only reason why I like Captain Kirk is because I like Shatner.
Yeah. So we'll actually have to do a Star Trek 2, which by far is the best Star Trek film ever.
Which, with most people, it's the other way around. They like Shatner because they like Captain Kirk.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he's not selling Wilderness Girl cookies. He played the villain with Tim Curry in a spoof film called Loaded Weapon that stars Sam Jackson and Emilio Estevez.
Yes. Good movie. Yeah. Probably do that one at some point, too.
I've got it. I've got it here somewhere.
Cool.
We can dig it out and watch it and then go through it. But back to Masters of the Universe. Sitting there watching it as an adult and separated from the nostalgia of the cartoon and my childhood and everything like that. The bad acting aside from those two, the rest of the film was really good.
Yeah.
I mean, it's got a low budget film to it. I think I had the numbers written up on this. Yeah, here we go. Estimated budget was $22 to $27 million, which in 87 was a huge amount of money.
Oh, yeah.
And they only made $17 million back on it. So that was a big contributor to killing Cannon Films.
Which Cannon Films did a number of pretty good and memorable movies as well.
Well, the two guys that ran Camden Films from like 1979, Menahem Golan, I'm sorry, I cannot pronounce that guy's first name, Menahem, and Yoram Globus. These guys were from Israel, so these are Jewish names. I'm sorry, I'm not Jewish. I cannot pronounce them and give them any kind of flair that they need, and I'm sorry about that. These guys were cousins. They bought Canon Films in 1979, and they ran it as a Ponzi scheme, apparently. What they would do... Now, the whole Ponzi scheme thing is not coming from me. I saw that in a documentary on Canon Films. It was called Electric Boogaloo, The Story of Canon Films. And that's another reason why I wanted to do this Masters of the Universe one, because that was such a fascinating watch. Mm-hmm. What these guys would do is they would go to parties and they would make up ideas for movies on the spot and tell them that they're in the works so they can get money for that film and then take it and use it for a different film.
Yeah.
So that was the Ponzi scheme. They were getting money in to make films that they weren't actually making. And then
so just kind of the norm in Hollywood.
Yeah, but they did it on such a spectacular scale. They were really, really good at it, especially since their whole model for films were they would make them a bunch of really low-budget films. And then every once in a while, they would hit one that would work, and they'd make $1 bazillion off of it, and that would keep them going for another few years. Here's the list of the most profitable films from Canon. Missing in Action, Missing in Action 2, Delta Force, Bloodsport, Breaking, and Over the Top. Now, we did Bloodsport already. Yeah. And that was a huge success, even though it was a terrible film.
But the other ones, Missing in Action 2, Delta Force, were very low-budget films, but had a big return on them.
Those are all Chuck Norris films.
And they were all Chuck Norris films, yes.
I think that's one of the things that really got these guys got lucky with, is they got a hold of Chuck Norris, and they helped launch his career. He probably would have been in films and been doing great things anyhow.
Oh, yeah, of course.
But this really put him in it. Over the Top, the only reason why that movie made any money was because it was coming off the height of Sylvester Stallone and him doing all the stuff. Yes. You were telling me about the remake of that one.
Oh, yeah. It's called Real Steel. It's the exact same movie, except it's instead of arm wrestling, it's boxing robots.
Boxing robots, which is a much better draw.
Yeah, much better concept for a movie.
I mean, they've got the estranged kid and then the rich dad or grandfather that's trying to get him back, and that's the exact same storyline as Over the Top. Hilarious. These guys, they ran it too close to the budget to the end, and when they had Superman 4 fail, and then they had this film fail. Well, Superman 4 failed, and then they had to pull the rest of the budget off of this one to be able to cover the rest of the stuff that they were going. That's where we run into the situation where they had to stop filming before they can do the climactic fight scene.
If you can botch a Superman movie, should you even be doing movies at all?
Well, it was pretty easy to do when they botched all the special effects on it. They were adding superpowers that he actually had. Apparently, he can use his X-ray vision to rebuild Great Wall of China.
Oh, really? Isn't that what they use X-rays for in the real world anyway?
Yeah, rebuild the Great Wall of China.
Yeah. In construction, they use X-rays all the time, don't they?
Well, these two guys, they got to be so hated in Hollywood, from what I understand. They were practically run out of town on a rail.
That's great.
One of them, I actually think, restarted another production company, 21st Century Film Corporation.
Okay.
I don't know what they've been doing. Oh, he died in 2014. That was Menahem and Yoram Globus.
I guess we know exactly what he's doing right now.
Making films elsewhere. I can't fault these guys. Hollywood is a nasty place anyhow.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
Anybody... They call it Hollyweird now. You hear the actors.
I think they've always called it Hollyweird. Actually,
it's a weird place.
But yeah, anytime
you see anything about behind the scenes, anything in Hollywood, it is something always horrible. It's either casting couches, it's drugs, it is prostitution.
It's in some ways things have gotten better. And in some ways, they've gotten way worse. If you know anything about the production of the Wizard of Oz. The behind the scenes is shocking would be an understatement. The way that the actors were treated, things like that.
The stars. They treated the stars like garbage.
Mm-hmm. Like I said, some things have gotten better, like in that regard, but a lot of things have gotten way worse.
I know I said it before, but I think the most accurate depiction was put in The Three Amigos, where they're trying to negotiate for higher pay to do the next Amigos film, and the movie producer is sitting there behind his giant desk in his giant office, starts yelling out at people to take their clothes, remove all their passes, and throw their asses out on the street. Which is exactly what they would have done back in that time period.
Oh yeah, the original Tin Man had an allergic reaction to the paint, the silver paint they put on him, and so what did they do? Fired him.
Fired him because he was allergic to the paint. Yeah. Well, they actually set the Wicked Witch on fire.
Yes, they did. Pretty much told her that if she couldn't get back to work to film the remaining scenes, that she was fired too. While she still had third-degree burns all over her body.
Yeah,
it's terrible. I'm laughing, but it's not actually funny. It's humorous in the regard that it's so shockingly horrible that it's funny.
I mean, we can either laugh or we could cry.
Yeah, and Judy Garland her diet was cigarettes and chicken broth. That was pretty much all, and diet pills.
Pills. Oh my God,
that was what she survived on throughout the filming of that movie.
And that explains a lot on why she had such a rough time later on in life. Because it's hard to recover from anything like that.
Yeah, she struggled with a lot of drug issues throughout the rest of her life.
But growing up, I mean, I can't fault these guys. They did put out a bunch of low budget films that were really good.
Oh yeah.
So they did have a bunch of misses. That was part of their process. So they would throw everything they had out there and then get lucky on stuff here and there. And when they did get lucky, they got really lucky, and that kept them going for a long time.
So they kind of took throw some stuff against the wall and see what sticks approach to film, to movies.
Yes. So they did, like, I think Breaking was a hard sell, but they got the film made, and then, of course, that was when breakdancing really took off.
Yeah.
So, yeah, those guys made about $1 billion off the movie Breaking.
Yeah. A
movie about breakdancing. And then they tried to do Breaking 2, which I can't even remember how they messed that one up, but they were talking about that in that documentary that I said. But, it did so well, they had to come out with a sequel.
Well, I'm sure that the sequel had the same problem that a lot of sequels have.
Well, back then, especially,
by the time it came out, the trend was already kind of dying or dead.
We're talking about Masters of the Universe today, though.
So, comparison to this recent film, how's that?
The new film. No, don't get me wrong; it's not a masterpiece.
No, not by any means.
But it's fun.
It's the film that. That the original one should have been.
The one that came out now was the one that should have come out 40 years ago. Because if it had come out 40 years ago, it wouldn't be struggling at the box office the way it is now.
No.
It would be the best movie of all time. Because the audience that loved He-Man would have loved this film.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And it was great. I like the part that they made him kind of passive, the He-Man character.
Yes.
Because he gets there and is like, well, your biggest strength is being able to negotiate. It's not actually your ability to punch things.
This is part of what they did. I think they did right in this movie is that. So it's the very beginning of the movie starts out in Eternia, and it kind of sets up He-Man as Prince Adam as this kind of small, frail kid that just he's expected to learn how to fight and everything like that, and he can't because he's smaller than all the other kids, and then ends up getting sent to the Earth realm and grows up on Earth. And
I thought that was a nice contrast because you could see, we started off here in this big fanciful place, and then you got to see the mundane, regular Earth, and live in that space.
Which after is where, so he learns how to be an Earthling, like a regular human. He learns to use his negotiating and talking, social skills rather than his fists, so that's where he gets that from. But then the climax of the movie in this movie takes place in back in Eternia, which I think was the better choice, because the climax of the 80s film took place in the Earth realm, and I think that was a bad choice for the most part.
Yeah, I mean, you had the climax, and then you had the actual ending of the film, where it was in Eternia in the original, but it was everything was all set up.
By that point, everything was already.
Although I like the fact that Skeletor is sitting up there in the original film. He was like, "Where are your friends now?" And then all of a sudden, they just pop up out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Oh, they had that fight scene at the beginning.
So I guess the actual climax of the film in the original movie took place in Eternia also, but it's just that all of the buildup happened in the Earth realm. In this recent movie, it was kind of a side note. It was like, okay, we're gonna send him there and then show him as like a young adult, where he's trying to convince everybody that, you know, that this other world is real.
I had some notes on that.
Yeah.
So they did mention Highlander in the film, right?
Yes.
And then they did use Princes of the Universe on there. There was another Highlander reference they could have used. The actor Adrian Paul, who played Connor McLeod in the Highlander TV series, he actually does sword training for fitness out in parks and stuff like that now.
Nice.
And he's got like a whole Facebook following and stuff like that, and YouTube stuff.
Cool.
Which is great. They could have, if they just reached out, I'm pretty sure he would have been more than happy to have a scene with him training to fight like a Highlander.
See, that would have been cool. You know, you kind of have Prince Adam while he's on Earth, you know, training with this guy to kind of, you know, give him a little taste of home, you know, or something like that.
You figure he would have been motivated to.
Yeah.
But they didn't lean into that.
They really, that was a missed opportunity.
It was. I mean, that's what they get for not hiring me.
Yeah.
To work on the films with people. Yeah, they need somebody with ideas.
Yep. Costumes in this movie, excellent. The
new
characters,
one. Yeah.
The characters looked like the characters. The characters acted like the characters for the most part as well.
I still think that they could take Alan Oppenheimer, the guy that originally voiced Skeletor in the cartoon series, and dub over Jared Leto's.
They could have dubbed over the voice.
And it would have been a much better film if they had done that.
Okay, so we were talking before about, you know, why this movie might not be doing too well.
Well, it was like Scary Movie 9 or something like that, right?
Something like that.
Where they brought the Wayans brothers back in to take back over their series.
Which, you know, is kind of a pretty big competition right there. But then you've got the last few things that they try to do with Masters of the Universe that they're going up against, and people are already kind of skeptical of anything that has to do with Masters of the Universe. Well,
they haven't been very faithful with any of the things that we grew up with. I mean, because really, if you didn't get into the Marvel stuff, anything other than Marvel, it's been a giant letdown. Like, even when they did the Star Wars ones, I was excited about the first Star Wars one that they came out, the one after Rogue One.
Yes.
Which I thought was a decent film.
Rogue One was good.
Rogue One was good, and then they brought in that first one with Daisy Ridley and John Boyega.
Yeah.
And I thought that was great. I thought it was a great setup. Yeah, they hit a lot of the same notes. It was basically the same film as A New Hope, you know, in a roundabout way. But I thought they set it up really well, and then they just didn't take it anywhere, and they couldn't make up their mind on what they wanted to do to the characters, and they let the Finn character just flop away.
Yeah, that was a big disappointment. I think us and many other people, many other fans of you know, the Star Wars genre, and that really did think that the first Disney movie was okay. It was adequate. We had high hopes for the Finn character. We kind of wanted to see him.
Yeah, there's no reason why they couldn't have two Jedi trainees. They could have both made their way to see Luke, and they could have trained with him.
But back to Eternia.
But no, I mean, that kind of disappointment we're all sitting with. And, you know, it's hard for people to get excited about something that we were excited about when we were young, when we think that you're just going to screw it up.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the thing. I was going to watch the movie at some point, but I wasn't really excited about, you know, going and seeing it right away.
Well, I saw a chance to get more people in to watch,
Yeah.
to listen to the podcast. I was like, oh, we got to jump on this gravy train. Let's go see the Masters of the Universe, and we'll compare the two films in the podcast.
Well, it was good, and I'm glad that you had that idea, because it forced me to go and watch the movie earlier than I had planned on, and I actually enjoyed it. One of the other problems I think that the film is facing is Jared Leto just seems to have kind of a bad reputation in Hollywood. I think a lot of people probably didn't see it because he was in the movie, which I think is kind of a mistake, because I think he actually did pretty well in this. It seems like he had a lot of fun playing Skeletor, and I think he did not do a bad job as Skeletor.
Yeah, he didn't do great, but he didn't do great, bad.
But, yeah.
Well, the problem I had, who was the actress that played Evil Lynn in the new one?
I can't remember.
I can't. She is a wonderful actress. I don't want anybody to think that I don't think she's a good actress. I don't think she was right for Evil Lynn. And I was telling my wife, I said, we wanted Evil Lynn, but we actually got Evelyn instead. She had her spots in it. I like the part where he's grabbing her arm and she's getting all aroused because apparently she's a sadist is in being hurt. I thought that was an interesting ad, and that would explain why she put up with his abuse so much.
Masochist.
A masochist, yes. Sorry, I don't know all the terms.
In any case, yeah, she just didn't seem too evil, you know.
Allison Brie. That's why I was thinking Brie Larson. Her last name is Brie.
Yeah, there you go.
Allison Brie. No, she's a great actress. I like seeing her and stuff. I think she. I don't know. They either get her bad direction or she just didn't know how to bring out the evil. But compared to Meg Foster from the original one, she brought Evil Lynn to the screen. I mean, her outfit was wrong. Allison Brie's was spot on for the cartoon. Meg Foster was actually spot on for Evil Lynn because she could play somewhat affectionate toward Skeletor, but bring out the stone cold baddie for out in the world where she's got to get stuff done. And of course, Meg Foster, she was in They Live. She's a beautiful actress that has those crystal blue eyes, which played really well in the Evil Lynn in this film. She said
for sure. She
got cast for a lot of horror films and stuff like that because her eyes were like an extra special effect they didn't have to pay for. But between the two films, if it wasn't a Masters of the Universe film, the original one would have done better.
You think about it, that type of movie was still pretty popular at the time. Sword plays, things like that.
What I don't understand was in the first film, they get in the Castle Grayskull with Wildor, right? And they're trying to free the sorceress. And then all of a sudden Skeletor comes in with a bunch of men. And there's like 12 or 13 guys, henchmen there. But every time He-Man pops up and starts firing off, like 3 or 4 of these guys start dropping. And then they start screaming, oh, we got to get out of here. We're being overrun. I'm all like, well, maybe just hold out a little bit more and then He-Man will take everybody out. Because there was probably about four guys left by the time they actually got out of there.
Yeah.
For the amount that they brought in at that point in time. But the new film, it was fun. It was fun. We had...
it was enjoyable. I liked it.
The names bit, I see some people online, they complain about the names, on how they came up with the names.
I think their explanation was actually pretty good. It was humorous.
It was great. I liked it.
Yeah.
I liked it.
The fact that they used the original names of the characters and they had an explanation of why the character names were so
cheesy.
Yeah.
so spot on.
Yeah.
On the nose.
You got a guy with a giant fist.
And let's call him Fisto.
Yeah.
It's like a guy that rams into things. Let's call him Ram Man.
Yeah. And why? Because the kid was like 8 years old when he came up when he came up with the names of these people that he remembered from his time in Eternia, but never really actually knew their actual names.
Yes. So the Tila in the new film that was played by Camila Mendez.
Okay.
And I think the first thing I've seen her in was that Archie drama that they did on the WB for a little bit. She played Betty, the brunette, right? You had Benny and Veronica.
Mm-hmm.
Was Betty the brunette or was Betty the blonde?
Veronica was the brunette.
Veronica. Betty
Betty was the blonde.
She played Veronica in it, and she was hot in that series.
Well,
Hot.
Veronica was hot, so
yeah. Well, I'm into the brunettes. I didn't like the fact that for her character Tila, they actually put her in blue contacts. I don't think that was necessary.
No, it wasn't.
And of course, we had Idris Elba playing Man at Arms.
Yes.
Which notoriously he was played by a white guy, but this is Idris Elba, so
this is Idris Elba. He's one of those actors that can play any role.
Well, I mean, they are aliens technically, so they could have had anybody in that part. I mean, they could have done the whole cast as Japanese actors. That would have been kind of cool too.
Yeah, and done it in Japanese.
Yeah.
With the full introduction of the every character before they go into battle.
They put the thing together well. They could have put anybody in these parts.
It was a good movie,
and it was fun. It was fun. They didn't try to. They weren't trying to push any kind of message. They weren't doing any kind of a political statement on there. They had the one part there where he had the nameplate on his desk that said he, him for his pronouns. But I
think that was a good play on, the fact
that was
a
little bit of tongue in cheek. The fact that he was living in our world and he's He-Man.
Exactly. Yeah.
And it was.
That's taking some of this modern culture and, having fun with it, I think. So I thought that was actually a pretty solid joke.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was definitely meant to be a joke, and some people have gotten upset about it. I've seen.
Yeah.
I think people are paid to be upset about things.
Some people definitely are.
And, if I could get on that payroll where I could just be upset at things and I don't have to do anything else other than being upset.
That's why, maybe we should start a YouTube channel where we're just professionally upset about things like some people are.
What would we call that? Professionally upset?
Well, I mean.
Oh, God, we can make it so obvious that we're professionally upset. That's a great idea. We can get on. I'm mad about this.
There's a lot of people on there already that are professionally upset about things.
No, we can be professionally upset about, really bizarre things, like the color of toads.
Yeah.
Why are these things green?
What is this? What's the deal with this chlorophyll and plants?
Chlorophyll?
More like chlorophyll.
I don't think it does what they're telling us it does. Every time I go out and mow the yard and stick my fingers in the lawnmower to get the grass out, my fingers turn green. I don't like it.
So I don't have any chlorophyll in my body. Why are my fingers turning green?
All right. So ultimately, what's your take on the two? What do we got here? We got
both movies are enjoyable. But if you're looking to watch a He-Man movie or Masters of the Universe movie, definitely watch this most recent one. That movie will satisfy your He-Man nostalgia.
It definitely does. It definitely does. I like the original one now more than I did when I was younger. Mm-hmm. And because I can actually set myself aside from the nostalgia of the kids' films. Oh the body dysmorphia that we had growing up, though. One of the things we had a problem with was Dolph Lundgren playing He-Man. He just seemed too scrawny to be He-Man when we were growing up, and I remember complaining about that.
Yeah.
And then now I'm an adult.
Everyone did. Everyone had that complaint. Like, why is this
scrawny guy? And you watch this film now, it's like, oh my God, he is huge. Now, I had a professional bodybuilder, a guy we went to high school. Literally He-Man.
Yes, I know.
And I begged him to be on the show tonight because we film at night. That's why I'm saying it was. Mm-hmm. But I begged him to be on here, and he was like, "Oh no, I'll say something dumb, and we'll all get canceled." And I'm all like, "It's not live.
Yeah,
I can edit out anything dumb that you say."
We say dumb things constantly. What are you talking about?
I mean, we've got like 5 hours of us talking about a bidet on when we did our Crocodile Dundee thing.
What are you even talking about? That didn't even happen.
That didn't even happen because it got cut.
That's right. Anyway, so we used to always joke around with our buddy there. I would see him, out at a store or something and be like, "Oh, everybody watch out. Looks like someone made Bruce Banner angry." Had a lot of fun.
He's a great guy. I honestly don't know. He still does physical fitness. I'm very jealous of his physique as an old man. He looks like one of these old anime characters that you would see, one of the old characters that all of a sudden takes off their shirt and they're completely ripped.
Just looks like a regular guy at first. And then
although he still looks like he's only 35 years old now, and he's close to 50. So the guy looks good. And I hope he listens to this and understands that we still want you on the show.
Yeah.
I think it would be a great time.
It'd be fun. I think so.
You're always fun to talk to. People want to hear it. Tens of people that listen to everything.
Well, we say people want to hear it. The records show otherwise.
Yeah.
we've got a lot of friends that, we tell about the podcast. And
everybody's excited.
A lot of them, hell yeah, it's great. And, hey, when can I be on? Okay, yeah, cool. You can be on at some point. Do you even listen to it? No,
I don't listen to it at all.
Okay, cool.
All right, so in good He-Man fashion, because this is exactly where we got at the end of a show to do a PSA. Because He-Man, they even in the new movie, they did a PSA at the end.
Yes, they did.
With Orko, which was one of the characters that everybody wanted in the original movie that they didn't have. Mm-hmm. I guess I'm dropping spoilers for the new film, but Orko's in it. If that'll get you out there to go see the film, he's in it for a little bit. It's fun. So what's our PSA for this week?
Take a tip from He-Man from this most recent movie. Try to talk your problems out. Fighting is always a last resort to anything. Physical violence is something that you should try to avoid at all costs. I'm not going to say that you shouldn't engage in it at any point, but I will say that that should be your absolute last resort. You should try to talk or walk away.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for turning in. I'll probably cut this down from the hour and 12 minutes that we've got on this so far. But if it does come in lower than that, you do know that we cut quite a bit out. I think we repeated ourselves quite a bit in this one, but
maybe a couple times.
Both films are great. I'm your Uncle Patches.
I'm Sinister Cinema.
Thank you very much for listening. You have been listening to What We Saw on Stolen Cable. This movie killed a studio, Masters of the Universe, 1987.